Welcome back to Sports Chat. My name is Robinson Okenya. First part of the show, we were taking a look at the results from the FIBA World Cup qualifiers matches that were played yesterday. In this second part of the show, I want us to get into some motorsport action. And joining me in studio to talk about the third edition of Sunset Corsa is none other than Teddy Theory. Good morning. How are you doing, Teddy?
Good morning. Thanks.
Welcome to Sports Chat. You had a fantastic weekend?
Yes. Quite an interesting one. And I guess we're here to start the week now.
We're here to start the week. Since now that we are talking about motorsport, yesterday we had the Silverstone GP. Your favorite driver won?
Unfortunately, I was disappointed by Max, but of course, due to the damage he had with the roof, the bottom roof of his car, really slowed him down. But when you look at a guy like Checo surprised everyone. Nobody expected him to get into the podium to finish second. Exactly, all the way from the last position till number 2. That was actually quite impressive. He was also the driver of the day.
Yes. Now let's move away from Formula One and let's get into some interesting form of race, that is drag racing. You are having the Sunset Corsa on the 9th to the 11th or 12th of July, but let's begin. Where did this idea of having drag race come from?
Ideally, the concept behind drag racing was to prevent people from racing on public roads due to safety, and it's really not good to do some of these things in public roads. So why not come up with a concept where people can come and release some of this steam that they have, and hence the birth of Sunset Corsa in the year 2021 September, when we held our first edition at the Masinga Dam Resort, and we took it again this year to Nyahururu. That was 2 months ago, and due to public demand, we were asked to hold a third edition, at least before we break for the general elections, and hence the 9th and 10th.
So saying that the idea began with trying to move people out of this urge for speed on public roads. The 3 editions that you've had, or rather 2 editions that you've had, how have they been so far?
It's been an upward climb. Of course, the start is never easy, but I believe with time, and of course we thank our loyal spectators and also drivers who come to participate for holding our hand.
And I was reading about Sunset Corsa, checking out some stuff. You normally do it if it's not an airstrip, then you have to get somewhere where people somewhere not really that populated. Why?
Not really. We always hold it at an airfield. At least there's enough space between vehicles. You have enough braking distance, you have enough acceleration space. So that's why we prefer to hold it at controlled airstrips. And also, it also helps manage, the crowd from getting too close to the runway. The beauty of having an airfield to hold this event. There's so much, just in case there's room for error. There are so many ways to correct it.
So many ways to go about it. Let's talk about the safety. I know, it's an adrenaline pumping activity, and people want to be right in front there, where the action is. What do you guys normally do when it comes to safety? Because I believe that is something that should be very, very paramount.
When it comes to matters of safety, that's actually our paramount choice, because we have evaluators and we have moderators who usually take charge by inspecting these vehicles, making sure the drivers are well equipped, from helmets to fire extinguishers to first aid box kits. As much as they have those equipments in their vehicles, we have on standby ambulances, we have fire engines, and of course we have the police to manage the crowd control.
How many categories do you have, and if you can give us more details about these categories?
Now, for the categories, we're broken into 4 categories. We have front wheel drive, we have rear wheel drive, we have all wheel drive, and again, we also have the bikes.
So if you can break it down for us, because somebody is right now watching and they want to know, probably if they want to participate, which category they can get into.
Ideally, is to look into the specifications of your vehicle. if your vehicle fits within the rear-wheel drive category, you're talking about the BMWs, the Mercedes-Benz and the likes, you fit for that category, as well as also Toyotas, because you know it's gotten to a point that guys for Toyota feel left out.
Yes.
So they also rear-wheel drive Toyotas. When you look at the all-wheel drive, that's where you have the likes of the Subarus and all of this. Then you look at the front-wheel drive, you have the VWs, the Golfs, the times Polos, maybe once in a while, the GTIs, Golf Rs. So it's for you to look at the specifications of your vehicle, then you choose the category in which you want to participate in. And as well, if you're a biker, the beauty about the bikes, it's really open to everyone, because bikes, you can't really categorize them. Now it's all like,
they do the guy.
Not really, I don't want to lock him out, but try to look at it from the performance view.
We take a look at the performance view.
Yeah.
So, what is the end game? At the end of it all, what are you trying to achieve, and where are you heading? As Sunset Corsa.
The end goal with Sunset Corsa is to close that gap between the high-end vehicles and also the classics. So the guys in between mostly are performance drivers,
yes,
and they usually don't have a platform for them to showcase what they're capable of doing. The beauty with Sunset Corsa, it also helps garages market themselves, because they're the ones who are doing the tuning, they're doing the builds, rectifications, all these things. So it's an even ground for you to come and showcase what you're actually capable of doing.
Now that you mentioned that we have garages doing the tuning and modifications, what goes into this modification, and do you have classification when it comes to modification?
When it comes to matters of modification, honestly, it's the power of the pocket that dictates what you can do with your vehicle.
Yes.
And then again, also you need to look at how much power can your car withstand, because at times people tend to go overboard, and then you end up losing, for example, your engine, your mounts. So many things can go wrong.
Yes.
But in this day and age, quite a number of garages have gotten into that field of understanding the power limits, of some of these machines. So you'll be able to be guided. You can do this, you can do this.
Yes.
You can do this, you can't do this. Yes, and that's how it goes about.
So somebody is watching at the moment, of course, taking a look at some of the clips from the previous edition that you had at Nyahururu Airstrip, and they're asking themselves, how different is this from the normal or the contemporary form of rallying?
When you look at the rally, for example, we're used to, you find that they do circuits.
Yes.
It's more like a circuit from point A to point B. You have gravel, you have sand, you have tarmac, so many different environments for them to participate in. But when you look at our event now, Sunset Corsa, this is a purely tarmacked event. It's less than 1.3 to 1.5 kilometers long. Yeah, so you just find it's a quick dash. That is it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quick dash. That is it. And of course, you get. But what is it? What is in it for the winners?
We usually have cash prizes, which this event, from the time it started until where it's now, there are quite a number of stakeholders who've come on board to help build the brand. We have the likes of Imports by Cairo, we have the likes of Flight Star Academy, who again usually give us race fuel, the fuel that's used by planes. They usually support us with that, because again, some of these cars are able to, consume this fuel, helps them build, more power for their vehicles. And then we also have the likes of Zuizi. They are in events industry. They decided to come on board to help us, streamline some of these things. So in the long run, my take home would be, we want to give people a weekend to enjoy. Not only the drivers get to enjoy, but also the spectators get to enjoy. There's music, there's entertainment, there's a games area. So definitely it's a weekend you really wouldn't want to miss.
A weekend you really wouldn't want to miss. And what does it say about now, the local tourism, tourism of the areas that you hold these events?
We try to bring as much business to the counties. We tend to prioritize local businessmen and women from that area, just to try and increase, to generate capital. But a lot of these counties have really supported us, because I believe each and every single county we've been to, they've held our hand through this. And it's a growing sport. It's still quite young, but it's something that has a lot of potential.
Are you looking forward probably to emulate the ones that they have down in South Africa?
Yes, definitely, but at least in a controlled environment. You know, just to make sure all the safety regulations are in place, and we'll be able to control. Yeah.
All the regulations, safety regulations are in place to make sure that you'll control. How many drivers are you looking forward to having in this weekend's event?
Our target is usually between 35 to 40, mixture of vehicles and bikes.
Bikes.
Yes.
Why do you have that target?
Because
normally I would believe that you want more people to participate.
Ideally, it's not that we want to lock anyone out. Again, having quite a long list tends to prolong the event. And you know, the timings are a bit too tight. So we usually try to work with at least between 35 to 40. If the number increases, well and good. We're still open to, you know, people coming to register. At the end of the day, like I mentioned, it's all about having fun and, of course, to a memorable weekend. Yeah.
So what does this say about, you know, the urge for this need for speed and, you know, away from the rally, you know, you as Sunset Corsa and trying to probably give people that chance to get into motorsport, but not the contemporary or the form that we know, that is, you know, contemporary form of rallying. What does it say?
What it says is we're not trying to create a bridge or barrier. It's just room for diversification. We're used to the normal safari rally, the WRC that happened, for example, 2 weeks ago. So it's just trying to bring an element of the gap in between the luxury vehicles and the all-time classics. In between, there are a lot of performance vehicles with a lot of potential to do, or even to participate in some of these events. So that's a bridge we are trying to close or rather bring, you know, make it tight. Yes.
And as we wrap up, you know, this talk about Sunset Corsa, you've held 2 events so far in Masinga, Nyahururu. Pick out one moment that stood out for you in those 2 events.
The biggest highlight was in Nyahururu when we had, it was a Nissan GTR, 1,500 horsepower, racing against Kawasaki Ninja. This bike is actually rated the 3rd fastest bike in the world. Primarily or ordinarily, you'd expect maybe the bike to beat the car, but this time around, the car beat the bike. Not once, not twice. So the reason why the 2nd edition is actually coming to place is so that people are able to settle their beef.
So it's all about settling the scores.
Yeah, it's called the Sunset Corsa Masinga Edition 2.0 rematch.
Yes. Yes. You said Sunset Corsa
Masinga Dam Edition 2.0 rematch.
The rematch. Yes, it's between still the between the GTR and the bike, the Kawasaki,
as well as so many other vehicles in those categories. But that was the main highlight of the event.
That was the main highlight.
Yes.
Probably any entries that you're looking forward to aside from this rematch?
Yes, there are quite a number of entries coming into place. But I encourage so many people to come for this event. We also have our ticketing platform. If anybody is interested,
yes,
it's sunsetgt.org. You'll be able to purchase your tickets from there. If you want to register as well as a driver, you log into the same platform, but you have to create, there's a portal for you to fill in your details, get to know about you, get to know about your car. We do evaluation of your vehicle and see whether you'll be fit to come for this event.
Be fit to come for the event. Where do Kenyans get tickets?
The tickets are online, sunsetgt.org. Right now, the advanced tickets are going for 1,500 bob. At the gate, they'll be going for 2,000 bob. Yes.
And before I let you go, this will be the 3rd edition.
Yes.
Probably now going forward, the ambition that you have, how big do you want this event to be?
We want it to be as big as Formula One, you know, to a point whereby you're doing city tours, you know, country tours. But we want to try and exhaust locally first, getting to know, because there are a number of runways in this country that fit the category to hold this event. So the end goal is to be more like Formula One. taking people to different counties, even different countries, if time gets there. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. That is Teddy Theory from Sunset Corsa. Of course, they have the Masinga rematch going down this weekend at the Masinga Dam. That is where Sunset Corsa will be going down this weekend. We'll be waiting to see who wins that rematch, and of course other highlights from some of the drivers that will be taking part in the drag races. Now that we are still in motorsport, let's get into the results.